All right, live stream.
Let me move this over and we are live.
Beautiful.
And good, there we go. And we're live here too. Hey, everybody, we are live. And hang on one second. I am.
There's your death loop.
Yeah, there's that loop. Give me a second here because we're going to go back on Zoom. There we are. Got it. And hey, welcome everybody to Real Estate Radio, the pre-show. And I'm here with, of course, my co-host, Dylan Kramer, Benchmark Mortgage.
Always glad to be here, Larry.
Yep. Glad to have you. And we got a lot of good stuff coming up this week. I think we're going to be talking a little bit about reverse mortgages and
Yeah,
how
I think we're going to
use those, right?
Absolutely. No, I think that is a, the reverse mortgage, Larry, not to jump on the intro, but is really the most underutilized tool available for lots of homeowners. And I think we're going to talk about a few myths about them and kind of dispel those and talk about how it can be really, really effective as a tool for the right home buyer, the right senior to, get themselves in a much more comfortable position in their retirement.
So moving down, maybe
moving down, but maybe just moving sideways, right? Like, at the end of the day, look, one of the things that the reverse can do it can behave like a home equity line, right? And so you can, in many situations, the reverse is marketed to folks like, hey, you're out of money. We can put a lump sum of cash in your pocket because you have equity in your house, right? And so that's the common marketing, kind of in what I call insomniac theater, right? You're up at 2 a.m. You're nervous about your bills. You got equity in your house.
Reverse mortgages.
Yeah, exactly. Henry Winkler, Tom Selleck's telling you what a great idea it is to call this call center where somebody who's, 18, 19, 20 years old is reading from a script. And it's like, well, you're broke. You should do this. It's a way more nuanced and sophisticated tool. And so when you get a reverse mortgage, in a nutshell, you can take money one of 3 ways. You can take a lump sum of money, and that in a little morbidly, but that lump sum of money as a maximum is based on your age and your expected longevity, just reality of the situation, right? So there's a percentage of your house that you can take. So if that's a $400,000 house, you might be able to take half or a third or 2/3, depends on how old you are and et cetera. You could just take it all in one check. But the other thing you could do is you could sign up to get a monthly payment, literally a reverse. Instead of making a payment every month, you get a monthly payment.
Correct.
And then there's a third kind of hybrid option, which I like for lots of folks who are really reasonably but not fully prepared for retirement, right? We've talked for years and years and years how 401k plans have changed the outcome or the look at retirement.
Changed or disappeared.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's no pensions and there's no guaranteed income. And so sometimes you have somebody who's saved $1.5 million in retirement assets, but they have what's called a sequence of returns risk. And so what that means is basically, if the market goes down 20%, now you have 1.2, your financial advisor is going to want to tell you and should tell you, hey, you should leave the money in the market, right? So it can grow back. Because if you need
100%,
because if you need 50 grand, well, now you not only lost 300 in the market, but now you lost another 50 in taking your cash needs. So the idea here is that you could turn around and have this available pool of money where you're like, okay, this year, because the market's down at 1.2, I'm just going to stay in the market. I'm going to pull 50 for my expenses off the reverse mortgage, which acts like a line of credit. I mean, there's a cap and there's some more sophisticated stuff going on that. But the effective version of it is you could do that for a year. And now if in a year or 18 months, you're back to 1.45 or 1.5 million, like, okay, now I could pull my 50 grand out, pay that loan back down to zero and move on.
Right.
But it's available as a line of credit. And unlike a home equity loan, you don't have to requalify for it. You don't have to make a monthly payment. They just add the interest to the balance every month. And so it's a great tool with a lot of sophistication for the right home buyer to say, hey, look, I'm going to sell let's say you're going to sell your $600,000 house in Naperville. You're going to move to a $400,000 condo, right? I need less square footage. I don't want the maintenance, blah, 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 blah. And if you net, 200 grand, you owe 400. Well, you could do a reverse for the two, put half down, and now you don't have a mortgage payment.
You don't have a payment.
So you can go from having a $3,500 mortgage payment to having nothing more than a tax payment and an HOA fee.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people with these commercials they see on late night TV, they get the dumbed down version of
Very much
what
so.
a reverse mortgage is without the full context of how you can actually use it to accomplish some of the things you just talked about. And without getting too heavy into it, because I don't want to repeat everything here we're going to talk about on Saturday, I want to let people know that on our, folks watching right now, we are going to really dive deep on this. And I know it's just, going to be covering something for a specific segment, niche of the market.
Right.
But a lot of the people that listen, younger folks, have parents that can use this and take advantage of this.
Well,
without
not only that, Larry.
Yeah.
Not only can they take advantage of it, but I think that some of the misunderstanding in the reverse, and this is some myth busting that we'll do on Saturday in a little more detail, is you get the old, and at this point, the folks who are reverse mortgage eligible are all boomers, right? So you get the Gen X kids, and they've turned around and seen articles and flashes, and they've seen the commercials, and they're like, I'm pretty sure you lose your house, which is 100% not true when you get a reverse mortgage. And so they'll sometimes slam on the brakes for mom and dad and be like, you can't do this.
Right.
Either out of,
you're spending my money.
Well, there's some of that for sure, right? Although if you ask a lot of folks, they're like, I don't want mom and dad's money. I just don't want them to lose their house. Yeah. And they don't, as a practical matter.
The problem with reverse mortgages, they've been very misunderstood.
Correct.
And what we're going to try and do, like you said, is bust up some of those myths and explain it in more detail. And of course, on Saturday, guys, we'll also be talking about, general market dynamics like we do always at the top of the hour. And of course, where can they hear us? They can watch us. They can hear us at 8:20 a.m.
They can certainly watch us.
Right. They could hear, if you're in the Chicago market, you can tune in on the dial at 8:20 a.m. You can also watch us right here on YouTube at Larry Shackman. So at LarryShackman. Tune in, watch me and Dylan here. And of course, on Facebook, Meta, whatever they're calling it these days.
Whatever the deal is.
Yeah, watch us live at WCPT 820. And remember, this is a full contact show, so you can call us or text us every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., 773-763-9278. We always have some great contests going on and always have some great information and some good questions from listeners as well. So, tune in. And what else? We got anything else we want to cover?
Larry, the other thing we're going to have on Saturday, I know you just mentioned talking a little bit about the market. We're going to have some real conversation about today's Fed meeting, right? They're going to make that announcement about an hour from now.
Yeah, great.
As to what the Fed's going to do with rates. And I'll be interested to see, if I'm predicting here, I think the Fed is going to go on hold for this meeting. Too. And be in a situation where they're announcing for next meeting, like, oh no, we'll be definitely in the mix for the next meeting. Like, don't worry about that. We'll be raising again. But they're starting to enter this wait and see mode. If that's true, my question is going to be, between here and the time we get on the air on Saturday, how's the market reacting to that, right? Does the market think that the Fed's going to be falling behind inflation, that the Fed is catching up to inflation, the Fed is really understanding inflation? And what does that do to mortgage rates? Because we're still sitting in a 7.5-ish market. And I think if we have a winter at 7.5, it's going to be a Game of Thrones winter, in some places, in some corners of the real estate market.
Well, here's the thing, man. Again, I think what you said last week is very true. A lot of the younger home buyers out there have never seen 7.5% mortgages. So now all of a sudden they're looking at 7.5% as, holy cow, this is insane. When in reality, historically, we know 7 to 7.5% is still a really good mortgage rate.
This is way more normal for sure.
Yeah, way more. And I think people are starting to get used to this new and what is normally normal, and understanding the fact that, the 2 and 3% mortgages you were seeing in 2020, they're done. You're not seeing those anymore. And if you're going to wait for those, then find a good landlord, because you're going to be waiting for a long time.
Exactly. And look, Larry, the thing here is, we've talked about the supply and demand dynamics, and I don't think that's changing. I don't think it is either. We're going to continue to see strong demand. There's going to continue to be limited inventory. And so I think from that standpoint, that supply and demand equation is going to keep values moving 3 to 5% a year. And it's just so important if you're playing the long game, meaning you're somebody in your 20s or 30s, you have to own, no matter what the rates are, because the values are going to go up from there, right? There are different equations for folks who are currently owning in their 50s and 60s, right? I mean, I'm in a situation personally where I have a sub 3% mortgage. And although on some levels, I've got a kid graduating high school this year, and I won't need as much house. But the question is, do I move and
to Iowa?
A higher house payment for a smaller house? Probably not.
Yeah.
And so over time, over the next few years, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because there will be lots of people who are like, I'm going to keep more house than I need instead of right sizing, right? We talked about this before. I've seen people in the town that I live in, they'll spend $50,000 or $60,000 to move 2 blocks west and 1 block east, or 1 block north, just to stay in the same middle school district, but get that extra bedroom, extra hall bath, extra half a garage space, because it's cheaper than remodeling. But now it won't be, right? Because not only do you have to spend the extra 50 or 60 grand, you have to you have to sell your place and the cost to transact that, and the additional mortgage payment every month. And so I think we're just going to see less places come to market, which will be healthy for values in a perverted sort of way, because there won't be as much supply.
Yeah. I think bottom line, and I mention this every single weekend, home ownership has to stay affordable in the United States for our economy to continue to percolate along and continue to get healthy. You mentioned something about inflation and how the Feds are going to react to that in this meeting, and how they're, here's the bottom line. We've gone from over 9% to 3.2% inflation. We have to stay on track. And I agree with you. I do not see them raising rates, but at the same time right now, but also what you said is very true. Inventory is not changing anytime soon. It's really not, because those people, like you said, that are sitting on 2 and 3% mortgages, for them to move up or even move down, you're moving down or up into a 7.5%. And what you said last week on the show, you were able to get one of our clients, after doing some digging, doing some due diligence, into a 6.3. So get with the right mortgage professional. Absolutely. So that they are digging deep and diving deep to find you the best deal possible, because not all mortgage brokers and not all real estate agents, I've been doing this 23 years, are built equally.
We have a saying around here, and I appreciate the compliment, Larry, but we take it to heart every day when we go into battle, and every business is in a battle right now in this industry, whether it's yours or mine or home inspectors.
Oh, yeah.
It's a battle. Who you work with matters.
It
And
matters.
there are times you don't realize how much it matters until it really matters. And so you got to be diligent up front and, make sure you're making good choices.
Okay, so if somebody wants to get in touch, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how are they doing that?
You can turn around and call or text 630-708-7088.
Awesome. And if you guys want to get in touch with me, first of all, what you want to do is get pre-approved through Dylan, so you know exactly how much house you can afford, whether you're investing, moving up, moving down, buying that vacation home, or whatever you're doing. Make sure you get pre-approved first. You can reach me directly at 630-921-0611. Zeros. My wife is always telling me, stop saying 0611. It's zero. Okay.
It is zero. In marketing, it's zero. She's right.
I apologize about that, everybody. So you can reach me at 630-921-0611. Text me, call me. We'll find you a great house. We'll find you a great investment property. I've been working with investors for 20 plus years, as well as, typical residential, retail real estate buyers, sellers. So call either one of us, get in touch with us. Let's get you into the right house at the right deal, and make sure you have all the information in front of you. I think that's important.
You got it.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
All right.
Awesome talking to you, Dylan. I will see you on Saturday. Remember, everybody, Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., 8:20 a.m. on the dial, WCPT 820 at Facebook, and on YouTube right here at Larry Shackman.
Awesome, man. See you Saturday.
All right, bud. I'll see you. Have a great day.
All right.